In animation, colorful rounded fabric squares converge, spiraling upward. Ability Summit.
Thank you, Jenny. I am so thrilled to be here with the two of you today. My name is Melissa Yingst, and I am very involved with the deaf community in multiple organizations. I wear different hats, primarily in the mental health field, but my heart is definitely with the deaf community, which leads me to be involved in media. My platform, Melmira, is where I love to ask questions, and so that's exactly what we're going to do today with the both of you. Are you ready? All right. Well, I'd like for you to introduce yourselves. First of all, let's start with you, Howard.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Howard Rosenblum. This is my ASL name sign. And I work as the CEO of the National Association of the Deaf, as you can see by the crest behind me. I'm also a practicing attorney, but my training, in addition to that, is a computer engineer. So I'm very interested in making access more available to folks in our community, both by way of technology and the law. I'm thrilled to be here.
Great. Thank you. And Chris?
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Chris Sano, and I'm the accessibility architect in Microsoft Teams organization here at Microsoft. My primary responsibility has been to build and drive the vision for the best-in-class experience for the deaf and hard of hearing using Teams. I also own accessibility across the calling, meeting, and devices space, and I'm very passionate about innovating in the accessibility space and building equitable experiences that empower everyone to be their very best. I'm honored to be a part of the panel today and so excited to talk about my journey and the work I've been doing with both you and Howard, very important people in our community.
Chris has brown hair, glasses, and a black shirt.
Thank you. I could definitely feel the passion that you have for Microsoft, and Microsoft is very fortunate to have you, Chris. I want to thank Microsoft for providing us this platform, because what an amazing opportunity it is for us to be able to speak about what it is like to be in the society we live in today. So, of course, I want to start on that note. How do you think being deaf has shaped your journey and led you to where you are currently?
Well, I can go ahead and kick us off. Yeah, I've been practicing as an attorney now for 31 years, so it has been quite a journey. As you can see, I've lost my share of hair from it, and I've also been trained as an engineer. Even before that, in my early years growing up, I saw that society did not have any kind of accessible technology available to me. For the first half of my childhood, I didn't have access to anything. For the latter half of my childhood, I had access to a TTY, but no captions were provided on television and movies at the time. Now, as the industry grew and grew, I would see more and more. However, for the most part, I observed that our community was left behind. So deaf people weren't getting an experience on par with the greater society. So I kept my focus on technology and my desire for us to get at least on par, if not ahead, but we continue to lag behind. So what I would like to see are advanced platforms such as Microsoft to get us into an equitable position and not leave us behind, as had been my experience. At NAD and as an engineer, as a lawyer, I like to strategize on ways to keep us moving forward in terms of accessibility, not just what's good for a narrow niche, but what's good for everyone. In other words, universal design.
Thank you. And that's a really wonderful way how law and technology can work hand in hand. Never thought about it in that perspective. But once you've shared that with me, I'm like, yeah, they do actually function well together. Chris, I know you're in the heart of technology working with Microsoft. So how does that apply to you being a deaf gentleman?
Well, for me, it's a part of my identity. It's who I've been my entire life. It's all I know. And because of that, I know exactly what it's like to live, like Howard was mentioning, in a world or society that is not designed for people like me. It's an ongoing, constant reminder. For example, I drop my kid off at school every morning, and there are always a lot of parents and teachers interacting. I feel like I'm walking through a vast sea of auditory information that I have no access to. I'm also a CrossFit junkie. I go to classes every day, and the coaches don't sign. So while I can watch and learn, and Melissa, I know you're a part of the CrossFit community as well, but I miss the nuances of the different movements. I'm also in meetings using technology that isn't perfect, which impedes my ability to understand and contribute to discussions, and ultimately impacts how well I'm able to do my job. I think all of us have similar examples of how, even with the things that are important to us and the things that we love doing, there are challenges that we need to overcome. And really, I am who I am today because I'm persistent. I have a good understanding of the different barriers that I have to overcome. And each barrier that I overcome becomes a tool on my tool belt that I can then use to address the next. I know firsthand what it's like to struggle to get the access that I need. I have the lived experience. I may not necessarily know or understand everyone's struggle, but that doesn't change my goal of making the world a more accessible place for everyone. And I'm extremely fortunate to be in the position where I am today to drive those changes in a product that is used by so many people. And that's where I hope that my experience and my perspectives on things will make a difference.
Yes, indeed. I think you just made me realize that without our technology, our access would be at the hands of hearing people and their willingness to accommodate us. For example, growing up, I had to interpret phone calls. And yes, you talked about CrossFit. I had a great experience at Orange Theory because the instructor was willing to write down everything for me as far as the instructions. And that experience was great for me. But of course, this was at the hands of a person choosing to do so, not technology. So if technology could make everything accessible to us, we wouldn't have to hesitate with every person that we come across wondering, would they accommodate us or not? Because it would be automatically given to us if technology could work out that way. Now, I'd like to know, yes, technology is made amazing leaps and bounds. But I'm wondering, how can deaf users contribute to better technology and have better experiences for everyone?
Yeah, so I like to think about it from the perspective of, if someone doesn't recognize a potential problem because it doesn't impact them personally, they're not going to have a good solution for it. When you're forced to continuously adapt to an environment that isn't designed for you, you're going to naturally try to come up with solutions that will work for you. And in many cases, those solutions end up benefiting a broader group of people. For those of us who understand what it is in this is deaf gain, right? For those who don't
Yes.
know, deaf gain emphasizes the idea that being deaf is not a loss or something to be pitied, but really, it's rather a unique and valuable way of experiencing the world. For example, the first captioning was invented by a deaf person. It was actually created for the deaf and hard of hearing, but now it's used as a tool for those who are learning how to read, maybe those who are not native English speakers, or even in an environment where they may have a temporary disability. For example, in an environment if it's very noisy, or they're somewhere they need to be very quiet because they have a baby and they don't want to wake them up. So thinking about live captions in Teams, this feature was specifically built to provide access for the deaf and hard of hearing user. Obviously, as I just mentioned, the impact extends beyond the DHH users. And now with this foundation that we built, we're able to extend our offering to include live translation, which
Oh, that's
allows
so
users to
cool.
access caption translated into their preferred language. So now people can access information in the language that they're most comfortable with. And we continue to harness the power of AI to build features to help us drive our vision of creating inclusive meetings. Deaf people possess strong problem-solving skills and creative
Right,
thinking that
right.
allows
It's a
us to
must.
overcome communication barriers. We have to. We're constantly being forced to adjust to changing circumstances. So we're always adapting. We understand those challenges better than anyone else. And we're positioned very well to design and drive what those solutions should look like.
Yes, yes. Very good point about how technology that benefits deaf people really does benefit everyone.
So, Melissa, I'm curious, given the sense that technology is so important to your platform, I mean, you are enriching everyone's lives by the interviews that you give. I'm just wondering, technology is a huge part of what you do. What would you be doing if technology wasn't where it is today? What would you be doing instead?
Well, thank you for that question that you're asking about what I am or what I'd be doing without technology. And to be honest, I don't know. And I don't want to find out. I think without technology, my show, would it even exist? Doubtful, because my show is based exclusively with social media. And yeah, I think I probably would have opportunities to do in-person discussions and gatherings, but I believe the ability to send the message to a larger audience would be limited. And my topics tend to be very in-depth with, say, mental health. And I can see the impact that it has on our community by that ripple effect and the discussions that it elicits. And the access would probably require a lot of work on my end to make sure that my signing is accessible, because it's not for those that do not know sign language, but it's also for the deaf, blind, and people who are maybe emerging signers. And so there would be a lot of transcriptions and translations and creating captions. So I do believe that there are quite a few deaf content creators who do use that approach. And I think we feel oftentimes that we want to be able to have the same type of respect from the hearing content creators. We are deaf. We're putting in that much effort to make our work accessible. I'd like to see the same effort on the other end to make it a lot easier. And I think we make those steps available so that when a person speaks, the captions come up automatically for us. But we have to do everything manually. And so my dream would be able to have that software that would recognize sign language and create captions. Now, I wonder if maybe if you could each have a magic wand, make your wishes come true. Now, mind you, we're talking about accessibility. What would you do? What would your wish be? You want to go? You want to have a go, Chris?
It's a great question. I've thought about this one for a while. I think the word that comes to mind is empathy. I'd want everyone to have the ability to be empathetic towards the experiences and needs of people with disabilities. You don't have to understand everything, but be empathetic. This is a critical component of accessibility. So it allows us to design and build products and services that are more inclusive, accommodating, and beneficial for people with disabilities. Without this, it's really hard to make progress.
Oh, yeah. I would say nearly the same thing that Chris did. I think the largest challenge, both in terms of the law and policy, remains people's attitudes. You can do whatever needs to be done with tech or with the law, but if there are people who act as gatekeepers to deem something unnecessary or allow the majority's needs to override the few, that misses the mark. Universal design, universal access, creates more availability, more profit, more products, more productivity for everyone. With the Section 508 requirements at the federal level now, if something is inaccessible, then the government doesn't buy it. That holds true with all products, all tech, all services, all access. I would like to see an attitude shift. I would like to see, for example, every platform, every tech company, before releasing a new product or technology, to engage a focus group of people with disabilities who would screen these kinds of matters before something is released. If something is inaccessible, make it right. Make it universally accessible, guaranteed, before it's released to the marketplace. Anyway, that would be my magic wand answer, Melissa.
I say bingo. I think the both of you nailed it. And with the work that's done for the deaf community, they should be included in the process. I think that's such a vital piece. Now we have sign language, and it's a hot moment in our community these days, but I don't want that to just be a trend. I'd love to see that to be the everyday constant for everyone to eagerly want to participate, to improve the technology, to keep it going. So maybe a dream would be is to have that sign language available and translated into printed English, to have that sign recognition. Do you know Christine Sun Kim? A well-known artist. She makes these bags, and very true. If you knew sign language, we would be friends. It's so true. If everyone signed, we could all communicate with one another. And so it's a dream of mine. Hopefully someday it becomes our reality. Isn't that right? Well, thank you for this opportunity, this reflective conversation. For those of you watching, hopefully you're percolating and including the community in everything that you do. Keep us in mind. Again, thank you to Microsoft for providing this platform. And excited to head back to the program.
Thanks so much, Melissa.
Thank you to the two of you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you for participating. There's more to experience. Explore other content experiences in the top navigation bar. In animation, an L-shaped curve of rounded fabric squares undulates softly.